on January, on December 23rd at 8 o'clock in the morning, my husband had an appointment with his probation officer to discuss um, us moving to Topeka. And when I took him to his appointment and was parking in front of the probation, the little office or whatever that that you would normally park in front of, when the security guard came up and said that I was not allowed to park there and told me to park over in the parking lot of the prison, the Lansing prison, which also is next to the fire department. And so I dropped my husband off and he goes inside for his appointment with the probation officer. So I drove to the parking lot behind there when a security guard, I'm guessing he was the parking security or whatever he was, and pulled up and asked me why in the fuck did I drive around and what in the fuck am I doing in the parking lot. And I said, well, you just told my husband that that you wanted me to come park over here, so that's what I'm doing. He said, I didn't say to park over here, you park over there, which I didn't really understand what over there was, so I just drove a little further up in the parking lot, and he came back by. He said, can't you read that you need to park right there in um, the parole parking, in which I said, okay, I'm sorry, I have hard hearing, I didn't understand, I have no problem doing that, and thank you, sir. And then once I got over there and parked, he pulled up again and told me that there is no smoking on these premises, so if, you know, um, he's seen me smoking, if he was to see me smoking a cigarette, that would be a very big problem, and I would be arrested. And I said I have no problem not smoking because I wasn't smoking anyway. And he said okay. And next thing I know, uh, there's this man walking um, from the probation office towards my truck, and I saw police. Right before that, I saw police pull up to the probation office that I had just dropped my husband off at, and then out comes walking the what I know now is my husband's probation officer. And he asked me, and my dog's barking. Kitty, my dog's name is Kitty, and she was barking. And he asked me, or he said, this is what he said, because I had to ask what, because I could not hear him. He said, are you Lee Warren's wife? And I said, what? I can't hear you. And next thing I know, there's two police cars that pull up and get out, and he asked me for my ID, for my driver's license, and I said, I don't understand. And he said, don't get smart with me, you little fucking bitch. You understand what I'm saying to you. Now let me see your driver's license. And I said, sir, I have not done anything wrong, and I don't understand why you need to see my driver's license. Because at that point, my truck was turned off. I was not driving. I mean, there was no reason for him to for him to even be asking me anything. So he said, you don't want to comply. If you don't want to comply, then I'll just pull you right out of your truck and 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 I said, sir, it's not that I'm not wanting to comply, it's I do not understand what is going on right now. And that's when he opened my door, and I have a hold of Kitty. I have a hold of Kitty, and he said, I'll kill your fucking dog, bitch. I will kill your fucking dog. And so at that point, which he did not even give me the opportunity to get my driver's license out, I had a hold of Kitty in my arms, and he had this hand back behind, twisted and pulled back behind my back. And mind you, I'm still in the driver's seat of the truck. And he's like, I'll kill that fucking dog. I'll kill your fucking dog. And I'm holding my dog. And I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, don't kill my dog. Don't kill my baby. Please, please, please don't. And I'm screaming, help, help. Because I'm being hurt. And I'm telling you, you're hurting me. Please stop hurting me. Don't kill my dog. Don't kill my dog. And then while I'm holding Kitty and this arm, every time he twists it tighter and twists my wrist tighter, I'm screaming, help, help, fire, fire. And I'm screaming so loud that I did not know it at the time until I was in the first jail cell and saw the dried blood around my lips, that I had screamed so loud that it actually made my throat bleed, and I was spitting up blood, screaming for help. And who helps you when it's the police that are hurting you? Who helps you? But anyway, I'm holding Kitty, and that's when another officer reaches in my truck, pulls out my car keys, and takes my keys, and I'm still holding Kitty, and I'm just screaming, please don't kill my dog. Please don't kill my dog. This is my baby. Please don't hurt my dog. Please stop hurting me. And that is when another officer, well, he said he was a detective. He was some thug-looking motherfucker in a beanie hat, grabs my shoulder while I'm still grabbed by the other officer. and holding my dog here, and grabs me so hard by my shoulder. And he said, I'm from something, some Atchison detective, whatever. I I don't even know. I don't even know what he said. Um, and I said, stop hurting me. Stop hurting me. And he said, if you don't want to comply, then we'll just pull you out of this fucking truck and fuck you up. And if you don't want to tell us your name or whatever. And nobody even asked me my name. Nobody even asked me my name or even gave me time to get my driver's license. Okay, and so I have one officer grabbing me behind my arm, twisting it back as far as it could go, and I'm surprised it didn't break. Okay, I have this detective motherfucker, whoever this beanie thug motherfucker thinks he was, grabbing my shoulder, um, and then while that's happening, they get into the other side of my truck, and they had one of those, and I don't know if animal control showed up by that time, because I couldn't see behind me because my arm was being twisted and my shoulder was being grabbed, and they come up and they had one of those stick things with the round thing, and they took Kitty by her neck and yanked her and pulled her out of the truck and slammed her on the pavement. And I'm screaming, don't hurt my dog, don't hurt my dog. One of the officers, I said, oh, I said, I remember you. I remember sucking your dick at Whispers. Because I did remember sucking his cock at Whispers, which Whispers is a gentleman's club that I worked for, where all the police came in, and whatever. But um, they get me, so they pull me out of the truck, they slam me on the ground, um, and I'm still screaming for help. I mean, I'm just screaming and screaming, please help, someone please help, fire, fire, help, help, and and don't kill my doll, don't kill my doll, because they said that they were going to kill my doll, and that's my baby. And they put me in the back of police after they put these handcuffs on me, and they put these handcuffs on me so tight that I had bruises and literally welts, and and my hands, these sides of my hands was completely purple on both sides from, I don't know what they knocked me into. I mean, I don't even know what they hit when they slammed me around, and they put me in the back of the car. I didn't see where they put Kitty. Um, and then I'm sitting in the back of the car, in the police car, and I see him take my phone. I see him take my purse. And then the arresting officer gets in Well, at first, the one that took the dog, the one that I remembered sucking his dick at Whispers, buckled me into the back seat after I was put in there. And I looked at him and I said, "Sir," I said, "please do not let them kill my dog." I said, "I don't care what you do to me, but you don't hurt that baby. You don't hurt my baby." So they and then and this one actually had tears in his eyes. Now he was one who actually seemed like he had a heart because he remembered me. And he knows that it wasn't right what the fuck they did to me because they violated everything that they could violate. I mean, there was no reason for them to do what they did to me at all. None. So, um, they take me, the arresting officer um, gets in the car, and I said, "Sir," I said, he said, "Well, you little fucking bitch, uh, if you would have just complied and showed me your license, um, you know, and not resisted arrest." I said, "Sir," I said, "do you have children?" I said, "Because Kitty is my baby. I can't have kids. That is my child." I said, "Now, do you have kids, officer? Because if someone was threatening to kill your kids, would you not scream for help? And would you not try to save their life?" And he said, "Well, you know, I do have kids." And, I said, "Oh, what's the difference? What's the difference between your kid and mine?" And he didn't say anything. And get to the police station, and this happened in Lansing, and Lansing does not have a holding cell or a jail. They have to take you to Leavenworth. So when I get to Leavenworth, um, pull in there, and there was 6 officers waiting when I got out to get me out of the police car. I don't know why they thought they needed 6. Um, and he told me, he said he was gonna do me a favor and tell him that I didn't resist arrest. Oh yeah, that was fucking kidnapping. I was kidnapped. I didn't resist anything. I was kidnapped. So they get me inside there, and I know my rights, and I know they were violated, and they get me in there. They pull everything out of my pockets. I didn't have much. Made me take off my jewelry, my sunglasses. Made me take off my shoes. Um, uh, then it came for strip search time. And strip search time, um, I had to remove every article of clothing in front of this woman after she patted me down. And mind you, I have not had any rights read, and not one person has asked me my name. Not one person. you know, enemy name. Nobody even asked me my name or who I was. So, for all they know, they could have had the Queen of fucking England, but they wouldn't have known it because they didn't ask me my fucking name. Anyway, so strip search time. And I'm asking her, is this really necessary? Because this is now, I mean, I don't even know what you call it by now, after being violated in such a way to where they made me get naked, spread my butt cheeks, bend over, and cough. Yeah. And she told me, your cheeks aren't spread enough. And she kept making me cough, telling me, you're not really coughing. Now cough some more, cough some more. Yeah, while I'm bent over in front of her with my fucking ass hanging out while she's looking at my pussy and probably fucking having a nut. I don't know. So I put on these clothes that they give me, which consisted of a shirt and these fucking pants. And I wasn't even given any shoes to put on my feet or anything. And I was told to go sit in the cell. So I'm sitting in the cell and I'm fucking freezing. It is fucking cold. I'm seeing everybody else walking around with blankets and whatnot. I didn't get a blanket. I didn't I didn't get anything. And when I wiped my mouth and I looked down and I had dried blood all over my mouth. And I started and I'm spitting and I'm fucking spitting straight blood. And that's when I realized that I had been screaming for help so loud that it made my fucking throat bleed. Literally bleed. And I'm just spitting, spitting, spitting blood, right? And my hands, I could barely move my hands, right? And that's when um, the same one, and I'm talking my hands were fucking purple. I mean, the main parts was here and here, but my whole hands were purple, and I could barely move them, and I mean, I was in a severe pain, and um, I had tears streaming down my face, and that's when the same one that got off on me pulling my butt cheeks apart in front of her and her getting just look all up in my pussy and shit, uh, came over and opened the door, and she asked me, she said, ma'am, can you move your hands? Let me see your wiggle your fingers. And, I could barely move them. She's like, okay, so long as they're not broken. And that's that's whenever they called me back out to ask me if I had any kind of medical conditions. And I do have medical conditions. I have a shitload of fucking medical conditions. Um, and this lady that was asking me, was not bright enough to understand what I was saying to her about my allergies. And, she said, do you have any allergies? I said, yes, I have several. Matter of fact, I have to carry an EpiPen, which because I develop allergies all of a sudden, and that is one of the things that could save my life because I am so severely allergic to things. Um, she said, "Okay, so what have you had allergic reactions to?" And I named off all the medications and all the different foods, and I said, "But the problem is I also develop allergies." And what developing allergies is like 1 minute I'm allergic. I can drink a glass of milk, and the next minute I'm severely allergic to it, and I have to have my EpiPen or anything, sausage, eggs. It doesn't matter. Just all of a sudden I'm allergic to it. That's what developing allergies is. And she's like, don't get smart with me, bitch. She said, I'll make you sit in that cell all fucking night if you don't want to answer my question. And I said, ma'am, I'm sorry if you're not smart enough to comprehend the answer that I gave you, because that is the only answer I can give you, and I don't know what to tell you. And she said, okay, well, I'll just have the nurse come down here and ask you. So, um, um, the the guy officer in there says, here, let me escort you back to your cell so you can sit and think about what you need to tell us about your allergies. So he opens my, I said, what? I said, I'm answering your question and being punished for it now. I said, that's fine. That's fine. I'm sorry, but that's the only answer I have. So then they send the nurse in there, and she asked me the same thing, and I said, are you not listening to my answer? And she starts going like, you need to hush. You just need to hush. I said, ma'am, why are you asking me a question and then telling me to hush? I don't understand. I don't understand what you're trying to do here. And she said, I'll have you, if you want to keep getting smart with me, I'll have you naked and thrown in there, and I'll have all sorts of wires coming in and out of you. And I said, you're not going to fucking touch me, bitch. You will not touch me. Don't let that fucking bitch touch me. Anyway, so they said, well, you don't, if I don't want to comply, that I can just sit there. And I said, I can stay here fucking as long as it takes. I don't care. You know, I said, you're not giving me any kind of respect at all, and I've been nothing but compliant, answering your questions. You know, I said I refuse to be treated like this. I said you're not going to give me the respect I deserve. Fuck you, I'm not giving you any either. So how about this? You take your unknowledged fucking nurse ass back to fucking wherever it is that you can't comprehend any fucking information that I'm trying to say to you. You know, that's not my fault. That's not my fault that you're not smart enough to understand, you know, even anything about your own job. So they make me sit there for hours, which is fine. I don't give a shit, you know. And then they want my fingerprints. Well, the only way that they can take your fingerprints is if you willingly um, basically say, hey, yeah, here, I want you to take my fingerprints. And I said, I'm not going to say that. They said, well, ma'am, we can't go any further with this process of getting you out of here until we get your fingerprints. And I said, okay, well, here's the deal, is I don't want you to take my fingerprints. I am being forced to be here. I don't want to be here. And he said, ma'am, we're just doing our job, you know, and if you just comply. And I'm like, here's the thing. I'm not going to sit here and beg you to do something that I don't want you to do. I don't want you to take my fingerprints. I don't want that. And I said, and she's like, well, the only way that you're ever going to get out of here is if you comply and do what we need you to do so that we can further this along and somebody can come bond you out. And I said, let it be known to everybody in here right now that I am being held against my will. I have been kidnapped. I'm being held against my will. I'm being forced to get my fingerprints taken because I'm not complying to doing this at all. That you are forcing me to do something against my will while I'm being held against my will, and I don't want to do this. And I said, you remember, you all will be held accountable for what you are doing to me right now. So they pull me out the cell, pull me over to the fingerprint digital crap. And I told the guy in there also, I said, let it be known that I am not doing this willingly, that I'm doing this against my will, because this is the only option that you guys are giving me to get out. That I am being forced to do this against my will. And they said, okay. And so they take my fingerprints, and by then, just touching my hands, it's just, my hands are in so much pain that I can't stand it. I literally can't stand it. Tears are running, and I'm like, please, please do not hurt my hands anymore. I can't take any more of this pain. And he said, well, I'm going to try to be as gentle as I can with you because, yeah, it looks like they hurt. And then they said that they needed pictures of me. So I stand over there, and for some reason, every picture that they took was fuzzy. They couldn't get a good picture of me, and I said, you know what that is? I said, that is my spirit, and that is my energy coming through, and it's distorting things, and sometimes it will do that. I didn't know if you guys knew that or not, but some people's energy are so strong it will actually distort images. So they were having a problem getting my picture. And I was telling them about how, and every cop that I encountered, I made sure to give them a story because I have so many of every incident of being abused by the law. And these particular ones, I was telling them about how I was illegally evicted from my grandmother's house when and she has to wear these special shoes. She can't even walk without her special shoes. She's on like 30 medications. I was her. I helped her do everything. But yeah, how the landlord was abusing her, screaming at her, scaring her. She's 100% disabled. She's almost totally blind. And then when I had went to make a police report against the landlord, that is when the officer told me that the landlord can do whatever the fuck he wants to me, and I have no rights, and that I better find someplace else to live because if I wasn't out in 3 days, that he'd make sure I was out, even though the landlord threatened to kill me and my grandma and my whole family and almost ran me over in a truck. And so I made sure to share that story with him. And I had also made a police report against that officer that he had to sign on the report. Now, whether that report still exists or not, who knows? I'm not sure. But anyway, so they get me back to the cell, um, and I'm still freezing. And I'm pissing razor blades because I'm sick. I was supposed to go see my kidney specialist, and well, that just blew that to all shit, you know, being kidnapped and everything. So, next thing I know, uh, there's an Atchison sheriff there, in that showed up at the Leavenworth Police um, Department to take me and my husband to Atchison, because I guess that's where our warrants were, whatever that the fuck was. Um, so they shackle it, they uh, make us get dressed and pull our butt cheeks apart and look at my pussy and everything else, you know, while I'm getting dressed. Shackle us up. Uh, did not even give us a jacket, and it's cold. Sent my personal belongings in a bag, um, and my husband rode in the back seat of the sheriff van while I rode in the front seat. Um, and I've never been arrested. I've never been in any kind of trouble in my life ever, ever. I've had a lot of run-ins with the police, but I have never been arrested. And all the run-ins that I've had with the police have been because I've had a problem with the police, or I've had a problem and then have had to try to get help from the police. I have several reports that I have made where I never got any help. From being stalked by my landlord, you know, where he violated it 5 times, and by the 5th time the police told me to stop calling and making reports because it wasn't going to do me any good anyway, because there was nothing that they could do, even though I had a restraining order and a stalking order. But anyway, so we get to the Atchison jail, and they have my husband out there asking him questions, where we live, yada yada, whatever. And the next thing I know is they're like, okay, Amber Warren. And I said, my name's not Amber. Nobody even asked me my name. And and they threw my warrant papers on the floor while I'm in holding cell, and they said, oh, okay, we're sorry. Now you've been served with your warrant. Now your warrant's been served, right? And it's not even the correct fucking name on the warrant papers. Not even the correct fucking name. Okay? It's just all this shit is so fucked up. It, it's it's not even. They didn't even. Okay, so So now we've been served, right? So I get, they take my husband to wherever they're putting my information into the computer, whatever, whatever. And they took my phone. So I don't know about anybody else, but every number or contact that I had was in my phone. I don't know anybody's number. None. Well, I'm sorry. I knew one phone number, which was my grandmother's. And she said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and let you use this phone to let somebody know that you're in here. And I got a hold of my grandma and I told my nanny that I was in the Atchison jail. And that was all I got to do. And so they take me and they put me in a cell, or they're called pods, I guess. Oh, and this was after um, I was strip searched again, butt cheek spread. And I also had to use the bathroom. And this is the first time that I had used the bathroom since the night before. Okay, this is how bad my kidneys and my fucking bladder is. Okay, so while the door is still open, um, there's two men in there, two men officers, and her, and I'm trying to pee. It hurts like hell. And one of the problems is I stop and I start and I stop and I start. And she said, well, she said, how many times are you going to start and stop going peeing? I said, ma'am, I told you I have kidney and bladder problems. You know? I mean, how fucking, do you know how violated I felt? How violated I felt and how embarrassing it is when you have these problems anyway. And And on top of it all, you have people fucking watching you, officers watching you piss, men, officers, and this dyke fucking woman cop watching you fucking piss, counting how many times you gotta start and stop. It doesn't, it just, it doesn't even matter, man. Just, anyway. Um, so they get me up to my pod. Uh, I tell them I'm sick. I don't have my medication. Um, and the next thing I know, uh, I'm fucking bleeding. I got my fucking period, right? And I need pads. I need something. I'm bleeding everywhere. They wouldn't give me pads. They would not fucking give me pads. Um, so I'm rolling up toilet paper, trying to make pads. And of course, I bled through that. And it wasn't until I started heavily bleeding through the fucking shit pants that they gave us to wear that it was when one of the girls in the cell said, hey, it's an emergency, she really needs some pads. and underwear. Well, the underwear that they gave me was too small, so I had to put the pad inside the pants, which the pants were like 3 sizes too big. And so I bled all, so I'm just bleeding all over the motherfucking place. And nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares. I mean, dude, I mean, I mean, just, and I'm worried about I'm just worried about my dog, dude. Because they told me that they were going to kill my dog. So, finally, one of the girls in the cell, um, had an extra pair of fucking underwear and was able to get some pads that she gave to me. So I wasn't sitting around just in fucking blood. And like, I don't know, the days fucking ran together so bad because I was so sick, and I'm still so sick right now. Fucking, I just got back from the hospital, dude. But anyway, the next thing I know, this fucking, he says he was a detective, pulls me in, um, to question me, right? And, you know, I said, where's my lawyer? I want a lawyer. And, you know, he's like, well, do you have kids? Do you have kids? Because I tell you what, you know, if you don't want to comply, if you don't want to answer me about uh, these checks or whatever, then you know what? I'll make sure you and your husband never see your kids again. And I said, sir, I said, you guys have already threatened to kill my kid. I don't know if my kid's alive right now or not. Lawyer. I want to talk to a fucking lawyer. Where's my fucking lawyer? And he said, okay. He said, um, I can tell right now that you don't want to help yourself out any. So, well, you just know that I'm gonna put you away for as long as I can fucking put you away. And I said, okay. And they bring me back to the pod, and I'm so fucking sick, man. So fucking sick. I couldn't even get into the fucking shower, man. I mean, I'm in that much fucking pain and shit. And so the next thing I know, and I mean, I couldn't do anything but sleep. I barely got up. I'd get up long enough to eat whatever kind of fucking slop that they fucking threw out there if I could get up to eat, and I was right back to sleep. Um, but the next thing I know, I'm fucking uh, being woke up by one of the security guards, and he said, okay, he said, if you can get into the shower, we'll do protocol on you. And I had asked one of the girls, I said, what's protocol? What is that? And they're like, that's where they check your health and send you to the hospital, or, you know, and check your blood pressure and stuff, and they send you to the hospital to get medication if you're sick. And he said, if you get into the shower, we'll send you to protocol. So sicker than the fucking dog, dude. I go downstairs. They wouldn't open the shower door. So I go back upstairs to lay down. So then the cop comes into my cell, takes me downstairs, puts me in the shower. I I'm in there for maybe 3 minutes. The water's freezing fucking cold. I get out. I walk upstairs. There's nobody there. My door's locked. I turn around and I look up to where I know the fucking cop, it's above and they look down below on you through this glass. And I look up and I hear buzz and they open my door for me by buzzing it. I go in, I lay down, waiting for protocol. Nobody came. There was no fucking protocol. There was none of that. No, they didn't fucking offer to help me with nothing. Um, so, um, and there's no way for me to make a phone call. They, they wouldn't give me a PIN number. In jail, they have to give you a PIN number to be able to make a phone call. I asked for one. The other girls asked one for me. They would not give me a PIN number to make any phone call at all. I was denied. I couldn't even use the phone like the normal people, like everybody else in jail. I was not given a fucking PIN code or any kind of help to get a phone call made to get me out. Matter of fact, they didn't even have me in the fucking system. They didn't even put me in the system. I was one of those, like when people called up there for me. Um, I guess my mom just happened to find out when visitation hours were, you know. But if you were to call up there for me, there was no record of me being there. Yeah. So, um, it's just so fucked up, man. So fucked up. So when my mom comes for visitation, I told her all the ways to get in touch with my mother-in-law because I knew my mother-in-law could bond me out. My bond, I was on a $20,000 bond for uh, allegedly a bad check. I allegedly wrote a bad check. That's what they're saying. Yeah, allegedly. Because I tell you what, they can go to fucking hell. Because that was some bullshit. I didn't do that shit. It's so fucked up. So eventually I got bonded out by my mother-in-law. Um, my lawyer, I didn't tell you about what my lawyer said. My lawyer said that if I didn't want to comply and if I didn't want to help myself because, you know, there's more going on than what I'm telling him and this and that, you know, he's hoping that I do 20 years for nothing. This fucking piece of shit, fucking lawyer, you know. And this is and I gotta pay this guy. I gotta pay this guy $100 for telling me that I should go to jail or be doing prison time for nothing. For me doing fucking nothing. I mean, I cannot even fucking scream how fucked up this shit is right now. I can't even scream it. I don't even know how I'm talking right now because my throat's so hard from screaming for help. And my husband's um my husband's probation officer fucked up. He fucked up and now he's trying to cover his own ass. And he fucked up majorly hardcore fucked up. Because before all this, when my husband was put in Topeka jail on a $50,000 bond on a warrant that was issued because he missed court because his fucking probation officer did not tell him he had court, okay? My husband called in every month, the same time. He was on the lowest probation that you could be, the lowest level of probation that you could be on. Called in every month where there's no problem. You know, nobody said anything. His probation officer did not know that he had a warrant out for his arrest until I called the stupid bastard and told him myself. Told him that my husband is in jail and what the fuck is going on. Now you tell me, how do you fuck up? How do you fuck that up? Because you're a fucking idiot. That's how. He's fucking trying to cover his own ass and all this bullshit he's doing. You know. So he got, this, I don't know, people who have been following, people's internet radio remember whenever I said, hey man, my husband's in prison or in jail on illegally. I mean, they have fucked up, man, so bad. I could sue the fucking piss out of them. And they know it. And they know it. They're trying to fucking make us disappear. And, we went to our court date yesterday. And now this dumbass motherfucker probation officer has issued another warrant for my husband's arrest for a probation violation of not telling him where he lives. And guess what? That was the whole sole purpose of why we went out there to the probation appointment where he had my husband arrested on this fucked up warrant that's bullshit anyway. Now whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? Whose fault is it that the probation officer does not know where we live when we told him? It sounds like Somebody's not really doing their, it sounds like, a whole bunch of stupid, fucking dumbass, fucking prick ass, fucking cops and probation officers who don't know how to do paperwork, who don't know how to do their job right, who don't really care about people and just want to hurt women, dogs, and break families apart. Well, I tell you what, people, I need fucking help. I need fucking help. They're gonna end up killing us. They're gonna end up killing us. You know, they're they're killing us, man. They, who helps you when it's the police hurting you? Who do you call for help when it is the police hurting you? Help, please, help, fucking help, man. I can say to help.